Guys, welcome back. Heading out to the lake today. Gonna do a video today talking about the new front deck setup. Now, I've had these two units for a while now, two LVS 34s. I just haven't ever really put them up there and went with them, but I've decided to go ahead. Got a new graph mount in, not really a new graph mount, just an extension. That way I could put the 943 XSV will be up front. The 1222, of course, will be up front. And what they will be doing is the 1222 will be used in forward mode, and the 943 XSV will be used in perspective mode. Now, a lot of people are going to say that is an information overload. I've already read some of those comments. That is too much going on, but if you kind of understand the way I fish, then you'll understand this. You're not looking at both. What I'm often faced with the decision of putting it in perspective mode or forward mode, and so a lot of times I will choose the best mode for what I can, what I'm going to do. And although I may want to use forward mode, but perspective mode is a little bit better choice. Well, I've been blessed enough to have the second one due to a friend who's let me use it. And so what I do is, for example, today I'm going to fish a lake that's full of cypress trees, which a lot of our lakes in Louisiana are full of cypress trees, and Arkansas and Mississippi, just, all those areas around here. Tons of cypress trees, because essentially they're just oxbow lakes. Rivers that have been cut off. If you don't know what oxbow lake is, rivers that have been cut off, and they'll dam them up on both ends and straighten out the rivers for traffic. And then the oxbow lake is the big, huge turn that's left in it. And a lot of times there'll be 7, 8, 10 lakes along one river, or even more than that, where where they've dammed them up, and they make great fisheries. They'll stabilize it to a lake. They're awesome. They have a lot of cypress trees. And then these cypress tree lakes, cypress trees are the number one source of cover, the number one source of structure for the fish to get on. I understand structure is more like drop-offs and things like that, but when you have these covers, it is their structure. So a lot of times what I do is I search these cypress trees for big fish. Now, the problem with perspective mode is as good as it covers a 135-degree area, and I can really look at these cypress trees and decide if there's a fish on them or not. The negative to it is that you lose your depth perception. And when I say depth perception, not the forward back like our human eyes, but the depth perception of how deep your bait must be to get it in the proper zone of the fish. And a lot of times you may go under the fish or over the fish and things like that, and that could be important. So I decided to go with this. Now, some people are going to ask why I didn't go with the 360. What I've learned from a lot of time, and I'm talking about many, many, many hours in perspective mode, is fish they're not very still. For years we thought fish or at least I did, if you catch them on a tree or catch them on a brush pile, they're just sitting in that brush pile backed up, similar to what you see at Bass Pro Shops, where they're just real stationary. To me, that's totally false. Very rarely do I ever see a fish just sit there. They don't just sit there, they move. They're constantly in movement. It reminds me of a big dude around a cake at Thanksgiving. He ain't gonna go very far from that cake. He ain't gonna sit right there at that cake, but he gonna use that cake as a central location to his whole objective. Big man got to eat. And so it's the same principle. And so what I've noticed is a lot of times forever and ever, when I fished, I would throw at a tree, go to the left, the front, the right, you'd move on. You're quickly trying to cover water. Well, what I've noticed through my perspective mode and all of that is that the fish, a lot of times, because they're not still, you'll make a cast to the left, center, and right and never hit the fish that's on that tree, because he's making circles and he's moving around. So that is the purpose behind and the lesson I've learned behind using perspective mode. So being that, I'm going to take the best of both worlds, perspective and forward. And then we're going to, I'm going to show you the setup on the front deck. And then after I show you the setup on the front deck, we're going to start to get some videos. Now, the way this has to happen with the videos is I've had to actually use 2 phones to record these at the same time. Now, that's actually kind of hard because you can only log in 2 phones to your Active Captain app. So, so you have 2 of them going at the same time. And what I'll try to do is try to link them up where they're straight. But being able to see the fish and then say, okay, there's a fish to the left, turning the pole, then lining my forward mode up, knowing that I'm in an area, then I can get a more accurate depiction of what I need to throw, whether bait-wise, depth-wise, and I can see the reaction of the fish on both screens. So I'll probably use the perspective mode first and then hone into them with the forward mode. So it's a little bit of both, best of both worlds type deal. And I do understand that most people cannot afford this. I can't afford this. I got lucky and had a friend, let me borrow his because he likes the 32 better, and a lot of crappie fishermen do. So that's a little rundown of what we're going to try to do today. Try to film some videos today on it, and I'm going to first film a video just showing the whole setup, how we did it, let you take a look at the fuse panels and things like that. But let's go, guys. We're headed to the water. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Ring the bell.